Hey guys, this is Isaac, and we are back with more of the Technic pack. Today's episode is going to be a little hodgepodgey, but hopefully we can all enjoy it. Since last episode quit early, I did finish exploring, found a new house location. As you can see, it's almost 900 meters away, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. I think the dogs are new. I tamed that dog, and there's one over here too. They're just sort of chilling like villains. I have really no use for them. Um, I expanded my collector array a little bit. So you can see I now have these 4 collectors, and then this one, and then there's even another below the relay, which are all pumping into this box. So you can see that it is generating EMC much faster than it was before, and we actually have a decent chance of making this make a diamond for us. Now as far as my bag goes, I traded with some locals. I'll explain more about the trading system in Millionaire eventually. I don't honestly find it all that useful compared to a lot of the things you can do, but I'll at least talk about it. And also, I got like some weird things like the cookies you'll see here. There is you might have seen the word spawner. There's a super dungeon over in that direction close to where our new house is. So that might be in, probably not today's episode, maybe the next episode. The super dungeons are like these enormous mossy and cobblestone structures above ground, which are like giant towers and are full of bizarre spawners. So I found a silverfish spawner and a magma cube spawner, neither of which is all that useful, but they're at least easy experience. But today I'm going to actually begin with a crafting recipe, because crafting's cool. So this is how you make a very, very handy mining tool, which you will soon grow to love. I showed Nova Catalyst, they're like the Super TNT, full health flint and steel, and then Mobius fuel. There we go. Any recipe that has that layout should be, they should work with both ways. They should work with the fuel in the corner and the Nova Catalyst switched, in my opinion. But this is a destruction catalyst. Destruction catalysts are a power item. They're run by EMC, and to demonstrate, I'm going to go ahead and take my Klein Star out. The Klein Star, like I said, stores EMC. Currently, this one has 7,000, so that will power my destruction catalyst at least for a little while. I hear the spider outside, so let's rush outside and then try and kill this guy. Hopefully, without aggroing our dogs. Oh, he's just chilling out there. Well, 32 arrows. Yeah, I'll take him. May as well. His noises annoy me. Got him. Right. So, I'm almost ready to begin my new house. Now that I found the location, a lot of it's worked out. But before I actually technically begin, I want to put a little more work into acquiring wealth. And to do that, I thought about setting up a quarry, but I don't think I'm quite wealthy enough to do that yet. So I want to go back over to where that house was. I'm just going to sprint. I have plenty of food. You can see the 62 pork chops. Or is that might be steak, I think. Yeah, steak. 62 of the steaks. But hopefully I will find a cave of some sort, which I can peruse at my leisure. And now that I have... Oh, I may as well show off the Destruction Catalyst, even if I'm not really mining with it. So in essence, it just does that. That was more lag than typical. It usually runs pretty fast. Like that. You can charge it up, and it does a much more powerful version of that effect, which cuts a lot deeper, but it's also more expensive. So since I don't have that much energy in my Klein Star right now, I'm going to actually not use it. But just be aware that once you have a lot of energy sitting around, you can mine enormous chunks using this thing. And I see a ravine on my mini-map, so I might just go explore that to get my wealth. Once I have this capital, I think I'll be able to add on and upgrade a couple of my collectors, and then I can build a quarry. I want to get my collector array at least like halfway to full before I really start working on the other mods, ways of getting free energy, or free, whatever you want to call it, free wealth. So, in essence, I'm just going to be mining anything that looks valuable. I thought about going back to that original cave I was in, but kind of boring. It's better to just explore new places, in my opinion. And now that I have my divining rod, as soon as I get down to very low heights, I can quite easily just find tons of diamonds and tungsten and everything else wonderful in the world. Really, I just need about 5 more diamonds. That's roughly the amount of wealth I'm looking to get before I start moving my house full-time. I just need at least 1 more relay, and then once I have all of those generating, I'll be able to afford a bit more in the ways of luxuries. Even just building the destruction catalyst this early was probably a mistake as far as efficiency is concerned, but it's a very cool toy, and I'm looking forward to showing it off to you guys once an appropriate situation arises. Sweet. The one problem, of course, with getting wealth this way is that I am going to have to macerate all of these ores. Although I may not macerate the copper, it's not. Copper gives you such little returns on it once you factor in the coal cost that it kind of hurts me to do it. But it does technically, it is efficient, just bothersome time-wise. That's a cool little island. I didn't find almost anything in that little ravine. That is disappointing. I trust myself to run at night. I'm just going to go to where the new house is and show off the super dungeon. Maybe I can even partially rate it in this episode, although, damn. That was just stupid on my part. I knew the ravine was there, but I can heal it off, no big deal. The dungeon, I'm not actually sure if there's much wealth in it, but I did find cookies, which are, I guess, a good thing to have, and they're awfully hard to make, so. And in worst case scenario, it has the spawners, which I can set up an experience farm on one, silk touch the other, get myself a pig farm, that sort of thing. Got to give yourself goals, you know. And I don't know where all this lag is coming from. I played a lot of episodes with literally 0 lag. Render distance is already on short. I don't really think that there's much I can close, but whatever, I'll just work with it. It's very frustrating because whenever I'm just like playing, I don't really have any trouble with lag at all. I don't know if my recorder is just not that great as far as conserving its own lag, but maybe my hard drive is getting close to full, so it slows down the encode speed. Yeah, but this is getting pretty awful, actually. Ugh, God. Okay, you know what? It's a lot more work for me, but I think that at some point soon I'm going to have to just cut the episode and come back and record a second half later, because this is very difficult to explain, and it doesn't look very good. I'm aware of that, and it's also making the night much more difficult than it needs to be. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cut this here. I'll be back, guys. Sorry about this. Yeah, that's running noticeably smoother. Okay. Turns out it was my hard drive, guys. Sorry about that. Obviously a problem that I could have avoided, but I don't exactly know how far away I am from maxing out most of the time. But cleaned up some files and now ready to progress with actually a decent frame rate. Although I have noticed, watching my videos back, something about the recording and uploading process makes my frame rate on YouTube look worse than it is in real life. So I actually have slightly better frame rate than it probably looks like to you, but not excellent. Java's just never run particularly well on Macs. I really hope they don't drop support, though. That feels like a massive oversight to me, but their choice, obviously. They're supposedly much more intelligent than I am. They being Apple software developers. Although, fun fact, a lot of people obviously make the comparison between Apple and Windows as being competitors, and it's absolutely true that they compete for the market shares, but they're not actually in the same industry. Apple Macintosh Computers is a hardware manufacturer. Meanwhile, Microsoft Windows is a operating system, and therefore software. So even though Mac does produce software to run on their machines, they are essentially selling the machines, hence the price tag. Meanwhile, Microsoft is selling the software, hence the price tag. You can buy OS X Lion, whatever the current version is. I don't know the exact numbers, but for like 20 bucks, and then Windows 7 is like 600 or whatever. I don't actually know the number, but it's high enough that I can't be bothered to boot camp. Oh shit! Wow. Okay, now that I actually am loading new chunks and getting some lag, I think that I'm just gonna run away from the spider jockey. Although they're so cool, man, I have to kill it. I have to kill it. Once you take the spider out, they're not too scary, but God, they're so awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys all saw that. I know some people still haven't seen spider jockeys, but I've seen a ton. And not just because I play Super Hostile, but I've probably seen like 12 or 13 spider jockeys. They're not really that rare. If you spend some time outside during Minecraft, which is almost oxymoronic, but if while playing Minecraft you go outside... Oh, I didn't even mention this is a volcano. Volcanoes just sort of happen. The top isn't loading for whatever reason, but they're cool things. That's where you get basalt from, which can make cobblestone and bricks, just like stone essentially, except it's darker. Whenever I want to build giant, massive black heat castles, I always use basalt bricks. That's not what I'll be doing on this world, but I think I have already gotten a couple. I think that I, on my way out here the first time, harvested a couple. There's some oil. I'm tempted to go and check and see if that oil's deep, because I will need oil at some point. I don't want to bother refining the water out. I'd rather just pump it into a fuel refinery. Okay, let me go and check and see. I don't think, because there's no oil spurting upwards, so I don't think this is a deep deposit, but it doesn't take very long to check. No, okay. Well, that is too bad, but I'm sure I can find oil somewhere near my house. Not exactly sure how long of the first recording I'm going to keep going before I cut it. And I'm not sure how long I've been recording since I came back, because I never bothered to break the video. I just kept my recorder running while I was file managing. So, not exactly sure when this one's going to end. It'll probably end up being an odd length. I may stop it soon just to be sure that it was within the limit. But I will at least get to the super dungeon. And we're getting close to the area that my new house is going to be in. You can tell because the geography's turned awesome. I'll show off a little bit of Thaumcraft soon, by the way, so that's when you can see what those trees are. I have a use for it coming up shortly, but for now I'm just going to leave that tree be. I don't really need to kill it. And frankly, I don't like standing still for too long at night. As long as you keep moving, nights are not bad, but if you stay still, you can get messed over pretty fast. But I'd like to show off my new house, or my new house location. I haven't actually built it yet. Because I know you guys probably want to be there for that. I want to do that off camera. So in essence, it is just this whole area. You can see that I have like a giant basin right here is the low depression. The super dungeon's loading in, so I'll keep it off screen for now. And then down here you have another cool rock face, and it just seemed like a nice enough area for me to just build a castle like stretched around and then build things inside it too. Because I really do want this structure to be enormous. And speaking of enormous, oh, this is actually where my old house was, isn't it? Yeah, I built a little house just to hang out in while I was here. I took everything out when I left, but... So yeah, this is the super dungeon. Some chunks over there are still loading in, but it really does look derpy like this. And I think the next episode we will attack this thing and see if we can find anything interesting besides the spawners that I already did. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Sorry it was fragmented like it was, but now that I figured out the hard drive troubles, I should be better off. And I do not even see where... Oh, there we go. Just a spider. I'm not afraid. I might actually delete a couple more files and try and get that speed back up. But, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will return shortly.